And hello, welcome back to the stream. Today, new game time. Why did my camera go out of focus? I don't know. Also, I feel like it needs to be a little more this way now that I look at it. Yeah. All right. Well, welcome. Yeah, new game time. Finished up the DMC. We're still working on salt. I have no clue how much salt is left, but we're getting there, I assume. But yeah, time to play a new game. Am I looking forward to playing this game? Kind of. It's a hard one to say. A hard one to parse, to judge. So with that in mind, let me boot it up real quick. Yes, this one. I think. Yes. Very good. No, wait. What's the... Yeah, that's what I want. So, the game we are playing today is, one second, I just gotta go to this, and go to this, and, please capture. Please capture. Okay, good. I just love, capture window feature in OBS. It's so so inconsistent. Anyway, let's transition, and we are playing a Game Freak game. I wonder what game that could be, considering they make barely anything outside of a certain category. We're playing Pokemon FireRed specifically. There's also Leaf Green. The only problem with the GBA screen, I'm having the same problem with the GBA screen. I don't know how I did it with Fire Emblem and Metroid Zero Mission before, but the DS screens and the GBA screen is a really funky resolution size. So I have to do another thing with it where I have to stick the game over there, and I guess I have the chat up there just to fill space. If anyone talks, then obviously that'll show up, but until then it's just a black box. So, Pokemon. Now, let me quickly put in the category while I'm, Pokemon. Do I have to put in the colon? I do not. Very good. Oh, come on. So Pokemon. A series that I always talk about my history with the series before why is it not working? Okay, the category menu for Twitch always breaks. It always breaks. Okay, anyway, yeah, while I'm doing this, we can just talk about the let's get to the actual menu instead of... Oh, shut up. Sure, controls. You can look at that for a minute. So I always talk about a history I have with the series before I start playing that series. So Metroid is the game series that we've played. That's not true. Wait, is Metroid's up until this point had been the longest game series where I'd played the most amount of games, but not all. Like I said before, I hadn't played like Other M, I hadn't played Prime 3, I hadn't played like Federation Force and that other one on the DS, so not much, but I played most of it. It's going to be a long time until we play a Pokemon game that I have not played. Right, I need to go to... I need to be doing this Twitch thing, see if it's correctly doing it in here. Does it say edit stream info? Okay, can I do it in here, please? Oh my god, I hate this. 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 I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. Please. All right, there we go. Now it updated successfully. All right, cool. Which means I can close out of the actual Twitch app that I never use. All right, yeah. So it's gonna be a long time till we get to a Pokemon game I haven't played. Also, so first of all, why are we not playing Red, Blue, or Yellow? And why are we playing FireRed instead? So first, it is obvious that I'm willing to play old games. I have played Half-Life 1. I have played Air Combat. I think those are the two oldest games we played so far. Air Combat, I think, is the oldest game we played so far, and I will be playing even older games. I have a, I wrote up a list since last time I mentioned that. There are even older games that I have coming up because they're first games in a series that I need to play the old games for them. So there are definitely some ancient games we're about to play. So why are we playing this one instead of Red and Green or Yellow? So from my experience, original Gen 1 and 2 do not have really any value to them. Like at all, compared to the remakes. Original Gen 3 has some value, but only if you plan to do the Battle Frontier, and I do not plan to do that on a first playthrough, because I don't want to waste hours grinding for a perfect competitive team. So when we get to Gen 3, we're also going to do the remakes there as well. Gen 4, though, has less value for some reason because they refused to make it a Platinum remake. So for Gen 4, we're going to play Platinum instead. And then from that forward, there's no remake games. So Pokemon is certainly a series. We are... Sorry. We are not going to be paying attention to the dialogue. As much as people say... like, Black and White have the best story. Who cares? I don't. None of the Pokemon stories are in any way interesting. I don't care. Dialogue? Yeah, whatever. I need to turn on fast, text as soon as I can. This game has that option, right? It's been a little moment since I played FireRed. Actually, that's not true. But Pokemon is a series I can get very pissed at, because, to be fair, my very first game that I ever played, that I owned, I played video games before I owned any, but my very first video game that I owned that I played was Pokemon Pearl. So Pokemon is certainly a game that a franchise that I've like connection to since way back when how old was I? 7? When I got my first DS Lite and I got Pokemon Pearl. Yeah, I don't care. What is it? Yeah, we're just gonna put Harker in, thanks. H-A-R. Yep, the Pokemon is a series I have history with, very much so. And as someone who's been playing the series for a long time, not as long as some other people, obviously. I didn't start with Gen 3, then started with Gen 2, didn't start with Gen 1. I am certainly disappointed with the direction games have been going. And I do not see why. Like, I've seen stuff about being people being like, oh, Scarlet and Violet's actually fun. I'm just like, it looks so unambitious. It looks like Pokemon was getting better for a long time. I think even into Gen 6 it was getting better with certain aspects. So basically the way I see with Pokemon is Gen 2 is better than Gen 1, Gen 3 is better than Gen 2, Gen 4 is better than Gen 3, Gen 5 is better than Gen 4. Gen 6 is the first one, and it's literally the only one where like Gen 5 and 6 are like the same, really. It's just that Gen 6 has certain positive aspects that Gen 5 doesn't have, and then Gen 5 has certain positive aspects that Gen 6 doesn't have. And then Gen 7 is the smallest step down in my opinion, but not too bad. And this is taking every aspect of the game into account, from gameplay, story, which again, that doesn't really matter. I like playing some Pokemon Showdown, so I like the competitive aspect, kind of. And then Gen 8, I have not played Gen 8 or onward. I have not played any game, Let's Go Pikachu or EV later. I just am not interested. Will we play them on the channel? Yes, of course. New name, Green. What do I look like? An idiot? Green. Green. Green? Real green? Green. Yeah, green. Yeah, green. No, not green. Blue. Green's the female character's name. So yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon games to play. I will tell you, I have played a lot of Pokemon. It's a series I'm very familiar with. Also, so Pokemon is definitely a series where games have their value in being played multiple times. The Nuzlocke comes to mind. We're not Nuzlocking. We're not randomizing. This is the first playthrough. Each first playthrough of a Pokemon game will be me going through it with whatever team I feel like building. Though whenever I play Pokemon team with a team that I'm building myself, I like at the very least think about which Pokemon I want beforehand, so I already know which guys are going to be on my team for this playthrough. Speaking of which, I did that a couple days ago, so let me just pull that up and make sure. Yeah. So we're going to be able to get 2 guys before the first, obviously, including the starter. We're going to get 2 guys before the first gym leader. We're going to be able to get 1, 2 more guys, 3 more guys before the second gym leader, and we're not going to get our 4th, 5th guy or final team member until after the 3rd gym leader. So team member 6 is going to be a little ways into the game. The problem, I find Gen 1. So FireRed and Leaf Green are the best. Do I need to talk to? Oh right. It's fast text. Fast. Yes. Sound. Yeah. Okay. This is. I don't care. All right. Cool. See, that's much better. Oh yeah. Right. I forgot you don't get the running shoes until later. So this is the best version of Gen 1. Like, Let's Go and Pikachu and Eevee seems to have some interesting ideas, but I don't really care about the Pokemon Go capturing mechanics. I don't care about the oh wait, no, right, I have to go to the tall grass. I don't care about the Mega Evolutions in that game. I don't like the Pokemon games where they start cutting the Pokedex out. And Let's Go and Eevee and Pikachu, while it certainly makes sense, I feel like you should still get Pokemon in the post game. That's how it's always been since every game since ever. Like even Black and White, the one generation where they're like, for the main, until you beat the champion, you can only use Gen 5 Pokemon. In the post game, they're like, oh yeah, sure, use whatever you want. So yeah. All right, so I guess we're gonna have discussions that. So again, Pokemon fans easy to piss off, including myself. We get to now talk about which starter in Gen 1 do I choose? Again, so considering so just real quick, the game order I played, I don't remember, yeah, so the game orders, my very first game was Pearl. Then I played FireRed Leaf Green. So actually, this was my second Pokemon game. So Pearl, FireRed Leaf Green, Ruby Sapphire. I've never played Emerald, but I played Ruby and Sapphire. Then Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black and White. As soon as we get to Black and White, or Heart Gold, Soul Silver, really, it just linearly. So Black and White 2, X and Y, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And then I've dabbled in original Gen 1 and 2, but I don't care. So am I the quote-unquote hipster, and do I like Bulbasaur? Am I the middle-of-the-road guy who likes Squirtle? Or am I the mass appeal guy who likes Charmander? So every time I play a new Pokemon game that I've never played before, I always choose the fire type starter first. So my first game I played I've always been fire starter every new game I play. So the very first time I played Gen 4 it was Chimchar. The very first time I played this game it was Charmander. The very first time I played Gen 5 it was Tepig. The very first time I played Gen 2 it was Cyndaquil. So the very first time I ever played Gen 1, it was Charmander I chose. But I think Squirtle is the best starter Pokemon in Gen 1. So I'm definitely of the opinion that ever since Charizard has been getting... No, I don't care about nicknames. Ever since Charizard's been getting a lot more, like, special treatment, it's kind of annoying. But, like, you can just mostly ignore it. But I've always preferred Squirtle, and I guess Venusaur is cool. He's fine, I guess. I don't have anything against him. I just prefer Squirtle. It is mildly annoying that he's the only starter in Gen 1 who doesn't have a dual typing, even though Poison sucks for a long time. Man, if Fairy wasn't even close to as good as it is, Poison would probably still suck. But the fact that Poison is good against Fairy, and Fairy is one of the best types in the game, very much helped out Poison, because Poison was probably the most useless typing until Fairy came out. Now it's probably, like, Bug, maybe? It's hard to say. I don't know, let's just tackle him. He's faster? Are we speed tied? Clearly not. You know, this is always the hardest fight in the entire game. Yes, I don't need you to tell me how to play this game. I played this game, this series for billions of hours. That's not true. You're not gonna use Growl? Oh, okay, we are speed tied. Alright, so we win if we don't lose the speed tie, whatever. The rival battle is always the hardest one to lose, or the win, but whatever. It's fine. It doesn't really matter. Yes, I understand how the game mechanics work. I guess we should mostly we should focus on the generation that we're playing. So, Gen 3. One of the main reasons I don't like playing... Then one of the main reasons... You give me a potion, right? Yeah, okay. One of the main reasons I don't like playing anything prior to Gen 4 is the fact that the physical special split doesn't exist. Kind of making certain Pokemon a lot worse. And some Pokemon better in certain regards. Oh my god. So certain Pokemon are worse. Coming to mind, the two that always come to mind are Flareon and Sneasel. Considering that Flareon is a physical fire attacker and all fire type attacks are special, and Sneasel is a physical ice and dark attacker, and all dark and ice attacks are special as well. There's others, those are the only two I usually remember off the top of my head. And the fact that certain Pokemon kind of just wallow in this sense of uselessness kind of sucks. So pre-Gen 3, I'm kind of a bit iffy on it, just because, the physical special split just makes the whole franchise way more palatable. In terms of Mogon, like, competitive play, Gen 1 is funny for, like, a laugh sometimes with how broken the game mechanics are. And Gen 2 is tediously slow, and then Gen 3 is also there, I guess. In fact, I don't like Gen 4's competitive scene much either. So it's not really, I don't really find competitive Pokemon interesting until Gen 5. Again, Gen 1 is kind of funny just to mess around with, just because, oh man, normal types can't paralyze other normal types with Body Slam because bug. Oh, moves with 100% accuracy can miss very rarely because bug. Speed determines your crit chance because bug. That game is bugs upon bugs upon bugs upon bugs, and it makes battling in that game, like, once you know how it works, it's fine. But if you don't know how the Gen 1 mechanics work and you get thrown into the deep end, you're gonna be completely baffled. Hyper Beam doesn't recharge if you kill a Pokemon. Strange. Also bug. The special defense and special attack stat being combined Gen 1, not a bug, but it's stupid. Alright, yes. Dialogue. Who cares? Well, I just want to get on to the things that are not this. No. You're gonna tell me that your sister's not gonna lend me a town map? What's her name? I forget. Okay, so... Here, give me a town map, please. So, something that I can definitely talk about in regards to Pokemon is growing up, my parents at some point or another got me. Do we have Pokeballs yet, by the way? I forget. Doesn't he give you Pokeballs? I should probably actually kill a couple wild Pokemon and get my Squirtle up to level 6. Okay, we have 5 Pokeballs. Wonderful. But what was I saying? Right. So at some point, my parents, my mom, got me some Pokemon manga. And all right, let's get our Squirtle up to level 6 real quick. And so the first one I remember, I know there's a bunch of different Pokemon manga. Like okay, so there was this one-shot one that was about the original Mystery Dungeon, which is also definitely a series we'll get to. But there was this one-shot one that was just one manga about the Mystery Dungeon series, the first one. And, well, this is gonna be our first team member, by the way. So, until we get to Gen 7, when we don't need HMs anymore, we need at least one flying type that can learn Fly, because there are some flying types that can't learn Fly, and one water type that can learn... Well, this game you don't need Waterfall, but that can learn Waterfall and Surf. And then in some games it's Dive and also Dive and or Whirlpool. But you can mostly forget about the Whirlpool part. So, for Pidgey, not the best, to be fair. We are definitely not using Noctowl in Gen 2. We are never going to be using Noctowl, in fact. No, I don't care about nicknames. Staraptor's good. Pidov's final form on Pheasant, I think, is bad also. And Talonflame is good, and Toucannon is also there. He's probably in the middle of the pack. Pidgeot is fine. I like Mega Pidgeot. Pidgeot's fine, but so the reason I'm using Pidgeot is I was building my team. Well, preparing my team for what I wanted to, like, choosing Pokemon I wanted for my team. And I was like, after I chose like 4 of them, I was like, wait, not a single one of these I can get before the first gym leader. I'm like, I want at least one guy before I fight the first gym leader. So I was like, I've got 2 choices. I either got Mankey. So spoiler alert, there's no fighting type on our team. It's either Mankey or Pidgey, because the rest of them suck. Well, I guess I can play Pikachu and go to Raichu, but if we're gonna use a Pikachu, I'd rather do that in Gen 7. I wouldn't get a Alolan Raichu. Oh, also, I will never use a Pokemon that I've used on a previous team in my pre-built teams in a later game. So we will never be using Pidgey or Squirtle again, which for the purposes of, like, the only thing Squirtle matters is in Gen 6, maybe, if I decide to use the Gen 1 starter they give you. Okay, you know what? I haven't used Speed Up since Fire Emblem, but for Pokemon grinding, I don't mind. Go figure. I will not use Speed Up unless it's grinding. And we don't need to do much grinding in this game, just when we first get a new team member, probably. Alright, good. And I just want Squirtle. I want them both to level 6, basically. What was I saying? Oh yeah, we won't use any old Pokemon we've already used before. But I was saying something. Oh yeah, the manga. Right, I just remembered. So there's the Mystery Dungeon one. That one's fine, I guess. It was kind of silly. But it was only a one-shot, so it kind of makes sense. Then, the one that I actually remember getting all the copies of when I was a kid. I don't know if we still have them somewhere. I doubt it. I'm so used to pressing... Never mind. But yeah, so the one I remember reading as a kid and actually reading every single copy that came out was called something Pokemon Stories. So the main character, it was Gen 4, was the plot or the basis of that generation. And it starred like this kid named like Harrietta or something, and like as the male protagonist, and the female protagonist was called like Mitsasumi or something, which was kind of, I was like, interesting. I was like, oh, we're getting the Japanese names, even though this is the English translations. Usually they change that stuff around. What was that? An antidote? Oh, just another potion. So that was that. I thought that was cool. That they gave us the Japanese names. You have to give us the teach. Oh wait, right. We're not grinding. And that was pretty fun. I remember there was the twist that the female protagonist ends up being part of Team Galactic for a spell and has to be beaten by the main character. That was cool. But besides that, it was an okay, I guess. If I read it again, I probably wouldn't write home about it. It's just kind of there. But there's the real Pokemon manga, the Pokemon Adventures, or the Pokemon Special manga. Now, I did get 2 copies of that when I was a kid, but it was the Pokemon Adventures Best of Red and the Pokemon Adventures Best of Yellow. And those would be the 2 we talk about in relation to this generation. Well, this... Actually, hold on. We'd actually talk about multiple different arcs, because there's the... Okay, I'll tell you right now. The Pokemon Adventures manga is really good. Like, I highly recommend. If you like Pokemon, and you want to actually see a kind of good story for... Okay, some of the plots are kind of dumb. The Gen 3 plot is kind of stupid, in my opinion. Gen 2 plot. The Gen 2 plot's I really like the Gen 2 plot. Chris, the female protagonist from Gen 2, she's a great character. What was I gonna say? Right. So the problem is there is a plot, there's an arc for every single game that came out. There is the first arc is the red, blue, green arc, basically. And that one is fine. Like, Red's didn't find good enough character. He's just kind of generic, which makes sense. Blue starts off a bit arrogant, but I don't think he's ever as arrogant as, like, his portrayal in most other mediums. Like, he's just a bit, like, he doesn't take Red seriously at first, but that changes pretty quick in the manga. And then Green is actually kind of funny. She's like a thief to start, and she steals like Red's gym badges or something. Also, I could go into the censored versions of the manga, but that's not really super important. Like, there's a couple scenes with Green that is censored in the English release, which the most famous one, I guess we should go over this real quick, is so in the manga it reveals that Blaine, the fire gym leader in this game, spoilers for this game, by the way, I mean spoilers for Pokemon, go figure, Blaine, the fire gym leader, Sabrina, the psychic gym leader, Lieutenant Surge, the electric gym leader, and Koga, the poison gym leader, I was like, which one was it again, are also parts of Team Rocket. And then so it means that, wait, I feel like I'm forgetting. Oh, right, Giovanni. So the 5 of the gym leaders are part of Team Rocket, but then Blaine eventually ends up abandoning Team Rocket, so he becomes one of the 4 good gym leaders, along with Brock, Misty, and the grass gym leader, who's the only one whose name I can't remember. It's like Etrick City or something. What's her name? Erica, maybe? I forget. And there's a scene where, like, when there's like the Silphco siege, where Red, Blue, and Green storm Silphco to stop Team Rocket doing whatever the hell they're doing. And Red has to fight Surge, Blue has to fight Koga and green fight Sabrina. Go figure. No, we're gonna get poisoned right away, aren't we? At least, very least, we're gonna get poisoned from Poison Point, right? No, surprising. And there's a scene where in the Pokemon manga they make it very clear that like the Pokemon are allowed to attack humans in the manga. The villains will say, "Go beat that human up," and the Pokemon are like, "Yeah, sure." So that's a factor, and like release, like the way, like the positioning and releasing of your Pokemon from your Pokeballs is also a factor in the manga. Which means like characters with like unique gimmicks for getting their Pokemon out kind of have this advantage. Like Yellow, who's a brand new character, has a fishing rod she uses, and Gold, the male protagonist from Gen 2, has a pull cue. So like Yellow and Gold are able to like position their Pokeballs in a better way than other people would. And then like Crystal, the female protagonist from Gen 2, kicks them like soccer balls. I'm like, yeah, okay. What did it say? I forget. Probably Weedle again, or Caterpie or something. So yeah, positioning matters, and such. But there's a scene where Green is fighting Sabrina, and in the original Japanese, what happens is, hey, a crit. In the original Japanese version, because I think I've read a translation where it was fan translations on top of the Japanese version, for some of the manga, but not all of it, because I don't think that exists for all versions. But anyway, where was I trying to go with this? Right, so there's a scene where Green's fighting Sabrina, and Sabrina takes like a Scyther or something, because it's Gen 1, and slashes across, like across Green's chest. Obviously, again, she's like attack Green to try to kill her. Obviously, and you start to slowly realize that the manga is really cool just because they're willing to like actually have consequences or like put characters in threatening situations. So what Green does is there's a lot of like sleight of hand in the Pokemon manga. She conceals 2 Pokeballs where her breasts would be. So when her shirt slashes open, she releases 2 Pokemon out. The manga censors that, because so in the original Japanese, it's just cut open. You see the 2 Pokeballs. You don't see like any skin or anything. So it's not really a problem. It's just like something is insinuated, which is obviously why it gets censored. And again, this is a Pokemon manga. It's surprising. Is it surprising that they go there? Sure. Is it like kind of cool that like you get these weird sequences? Yeah. But so in the English version, it's so stupid. Oh, hey Blaze, I'm just talking about we're playing Pokemon and I'm talking about the manga because the Pokemon manga is great. But so in the English version, it's censored to be where like Green makes fun of Sabrina and then Sabrina gets distracted, and I remember what Sabrina says because it's so stupid. It's so incredibly dumb in the censored version. She says, "Oh, her dissing distracted me." I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. That's what you went with? That's the censored line? It's so incredible. Oh wait, he's level 9? I think if you lose this battle, you don't get another chance. Alright, I thought this guy, his Pokemon were only like level 7 here. So I was like, we should be able to go fight Blue now over here. But I guess we're going to lose. Especially if he starts sand attacking me and miss. But yeah, that censorship is terrible. It's so bad. I can understand like covering it up like that thing, but the replacement dialogue, ugh, ooh, I hate it. I hate it. It's so terrible. Anyway, I don't remember where I was getting off. Oh yeah, right. And then there's the yellow arc. Turns out so the whole red arc, red, blue, yellow, or red, blue, green arc is red, blue, and green running around fighting Team Rocket basically, and then go to the Pokemon League and fight each other. which is cool and all. But they don't do the Elite Four or anything. The Elite Four is for the Yellow arc. Yellow being a character that they made up for the manga. And it turns out that the Elite Four are eco-terrorists, which is an interesting angle, I suppose. The only way we win this is if we sand attack a million times. Make it so he misses all the time. But yeah, so the Elite Four are a bunch of eco-terrorists. All these people, yeah, I'm not a big fan of censorship. Like, it's not necessarily because, like, I'm the kind of guy who would, like the content that it gets censored, but typically the censored content is either more interesting or, again, it would be closer to the creation, the vision of the creator. And a lot of Japanese censorship is like that. But what was I saying? Yeah, so in the Elite Four are eco-terrorists. They're like, we are going to kill all the people because all the people are like polluters and bad, and they poison the water and they cut down the forest. We want Pokemon to live. And the fighting Elite Four guy doesn't really care. He just wants to fight stronger trainers. It's the Ghost Elite Four lady, Agatha, Lorelei, and Lance who care about that. I think his name's Bruno. Bruno doesn't care. He just wants to fight strong trainers. So he just looks like, I want to fight Red. And they're like, well, Red's going to get in our way probably. So yeah, that's fine. You can go do that. So Yellow has magic powers because she's from Viridian Forest. And Lance is also from Viridian Forest, so he also has magic powers. And also it's revealed at the very end that Giovanni is also from Viridian Forest, which means he also has magic powers. It's very funny. Basically, those characters, Giovanni, Lance, and Yellow, are able to A, heal Pokemon, B, read their minds, and have slight telekinesis. Like, not very strong, but they have it. So, go figure. It's very weird. And the final fight is like Yellow's team of unevolved Pokemon, because she likes cute Pokemon. So she's like, I don't want to evolve my Pokemon. And you're like, okay. I think the only Pokemon she evolves early on is Rattata and Eradicate on accident. Oh yeah, we can also go over everyone's teams. Like, Red's team in the original manga is his very first Pokemon's a Poliwrath, and then his starter Pokemon's Bulbasaur. He's like Pikachu, Gyarados, Snorlax. He has an I don't remember if the Eevee is a permanent. Yeah, I think the Eevee becomes a permanent member later. And some like other stuff. Yellow's team is like in the end, a Golem, an Amistar, Eradicate, her own Pikachu, Butterfree, and Dodrio. Man, I wanted to use Dodrio for this playthrough, by the way, but again, I wanted a Pokemon before we got to the first gym leader, so that's why we have Pidgey instead. Also, you have a higher special attack or physical attack. You have higher physical attack. Really? What's your nature? Are you adamant? Careful. I don't know what that is. All right. Well, I guess with 15 points higher in attack, his tackle is probably still better than Gust. Squirtle, on the other hand, please don't be some terrible ass nature. Modest nature? Okay, again, it doesn't matter that much. We're just doing a casual playthrough, but that's the perfect nature right there. I guess maybe whatever the hell the speed up, raise speed, lower attack one would be, but modest, I'll take it. Good stuff. I don't know what their IVs are. You never know. But I'm pretty sure you could make a Blastoise a mixed attacker if you wanted. But yeah, so the final fight is like Yellow has all of her Pokemon not fully evolved. And she's fighting Lance, who has 3 Dragonairs, a Dragonite, an Aerodactyl, and something else on top of a volcano. And then they summon like a super, like, I think it's a reference to Ho-Oh, but it's not actually Ho-Oh at the end. And also Yellow's like, I command all my Pokemon to evolve at once. and they do it because she has magic powers. And her Caterpie evolves twice into Butterfree at one time. So silly stuff like that. So the manga is a very good recommend for me. It's a fun time. The Gen 2 manga is... Gen 1 manga is fine. The yellow arc, the red, blue, green arc is good. The yellow arc is pretty, I think, better than the first arc. The gold, silver, and then the gold, silver arc and the crystal arc are considered 2 different arcs. But the gold, silver, and crystal arc, it's all one thing, but they're considered 2 different arcs, is awesome. I love the villain. I love the villain in the gold, silver, crystal arc. He's so cool. Like such an interesting idea. The Ruby and Sapphire arc is kind of dumb. Like, it has its moments, but... And I like Ruby as a... I think Ruby's fun. Oh, and by the way, all the protagonist characters are named, like... The male protagonist in Gen 3 is called Ruby. The female protagonist is called Emerald, or Sapphire. And then they have another character made up for the manga called Emerald. And the Emerald arc is probably the weirdest arc in the entire series. It is just so strange. But I guess it's there. There's just weird stuff in the Emerald arc. Like, no, we'll get to the Gen 3 stuff later. But the Emerald arc is weird. The Gen 4 arc, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum is one arc. No, Diamond and Pearl is one arc, and then Platinum is considered a separate arc. The Diamond and Pearl arc is... The Platinum arc is very short. Ruby's a weird name. It's just because they're named after the games. Like, the characters' names in the Gen 4 arc is Diamond is the male protagonist, Pearl is the rival, and Platinum is the female protagonist. Okay, just real quick, the strangest naming convention is Black and White and Black and White 2. So obviously, in Black and White, Black is the male protagonist and White is the female protagonist, so Charon and Bianca are just called Charon and Bianca. In Black and White 2, so they're like, are we going to call them Black 2 and White 2? Are those going to be their names? I've read 2 different versions of the Black and White 2 manga. Not to completion both, but I've read 2 different versions. In the fan translation, they're like, okay, we're gonna take this very literally, and we're gonna call the male protagonist Black 2, nicknamed like Black 2, and the female protagonist is gonna be called White 2, nicknamed Y2, and it's so stupid, but it's hilarious. In the official translation, the male protagonist's name is Blake, and the female protagonist's name is Whitney, I think. So we're still going. This guy has more Pokemon. I've not been paying attention whatsoever. Okay, Squirtle is dead. That is fine. Yeah, sure. But yeah, so the Gen 4 manga, Diamond Pearl arc is fun. The Platinum arc is very short. It has the Platinum arc has my favorite moment. My favorite, I guess 2 panel. I think it's 2 panels. The Platinum arc is my favorite 2 panels in the entire manga. Just because of how kind of dumb it is and silly. But I'm not gonna talk about manga arcs until we get there. Oh right, I just remembered because there's the FireRed and Leaf Green arc. Okay, we're gonna just speed this up a little bit. There's the FireRed and Leaf Green arc, and then there's the Heart Gold and Soul Silver arc. So the FireRed and Leaf Green arc is interesting also. I guess we could talk about that one, but there would be theoretically spoilers to the Gold, Silver, Crystal arc. And there's also tie-ins to the Emerald arc. Like, it's weird. Like, the end of the Fire and Leaf Green arc ends up with red, blue, green, yellow, and silver. Silver being the rival from Gen 2, being frozen in stone for some reason. And the Emerald arc is them trying to figure out how to unpetrify them. So that's cool. And I think the reason that's the case is because the Silver arc is concerning, like, Giovanni trying to find Silver, because they're going with the whole shtick of Giovanni being Silver's dad. So Silver's, like, the only one in the Fire Leaf Green arc who's outside of that, arc that comes up. like, sure, like Crystal shows up in other. I feel like Crystal shows up a lot outside of her own arc because she helps Professor Oak. She becomes like Professor Oak's main aide post her arc. Squirtle level up to be on par with Pidgey because Pidgey is super effective against everyone so far. But yeah, Fire Leaf Green arc is pretty good. Heart Gold Soul Silver arc is all the remake arcs are pretty short. Heart Gold Soul Silver arc is fine. Again, I really like Gold, so it's just fun watching Gold do nonsense basically. And so back to the main, the Black and White. Okay, the Black and White arc is probably my favorite because Black and White are just like cool, I guess. Like Black and White 2 is fine, that's also there, but it's also cool because Black and White show up in the Black and White 2 arc. Also, real quick, there are like romantic like relations with the characters in the manga. Like it's insane, so it's always shown that Yellow and Misty like Red, though he never reciprocates. So who cares? Gen 2 doesn't have anything. Gen 3, Ruby and Sapphire are like dating by the end, but that relationship is not very well written. Gen 4 doesn't have anything. Gen 5, we'll come back to that. Gen 6 doesn't have anything. Gen 7 doesn't have anything. I have not read the Gen 8 manga because I don't think it's done yet. The relationship between Black and White is the only relationship that is actually written well in the entire series. It is believable, which is good, because that's what part of the problem with the Gen 3 arc is. The relationship between Ruby and Sapphire kind of makes it hard to read sometimes. Whereas the Black and White relationship is a lot more well built up and makes sense. Which, hey, I guess if you're gonna put a romantic subplot in the Pokemon manga, which again, it's weird that it's there because it's Pokemon. At least there's at least one good example. But yeah, the Black and White arc is my favorite. It's just Black and White are fun to watch. Team fighting the Team Plasma and Black and White is really cool. The Black and White arc 2 arc is fine. And then the X and Y arc. So most of the arc. So Pokemon, the manga, like I said, the manga is really good. I don't think there's a single arc I completely don't like. The X and Y arc compared to the games is insanely awesome. I still prefer the Black and White arc compared to the X and Y arc, but the X and Y arc is just kind of fun. Like, Y is a really fun character to watch. Like, X is like the really depressed guy who like doesn't do stuff a lot. Like he'll help when he really needs to help, but for the most part he's kind of useless and always like hiding. But there's like the ending to the X and Y arc is fantastic. Y is fun. I like Y. She's cool. And like the friend characters are interesting. Like the friend characters in X and Y suck in the games. They're terrible. But Shauna and Trevor and Tierno, the only reason I know their names is because of the manga. Because they're actually like Shauna's like kind of a pain in the ass in the manga. Like in the game, she's all like buddy friendship with you. In the manga, Shauna's always like, I'm complaining all the time. I hate everything. Why are we doing this? This is so stupid. Can we not do this, please? And there's like scenes where like Shauna gets possessed and is trying to kill everyone with the sword, stuff like that. So Gen 6 manga, great. The Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire arc, again, it has the problem of the fact that Ruby and Sapphire's relationship is part of the arc. Makes it kind of annoying. The games are weak. So the thing with the Gen 6 games is I find the Gen 6 games really good. You just have to turn off the experience share. It's that simple as that. Just turn off the experience share and Gen 6 actually becomes kind of a fun game. Never watched much of the anime. Like, I've seen the anime from when I was a kid. But I don't really remember much about it. So, yeah. Like, okay, so I've seen episodes of the Gen 1 anime. I've seen episodes of the Gen 2 anime. I've seen episodes of the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7. I saw that there was that, like, fact that the Ash is finally getting retired as the protagonist because there was some massive championship where, like, all the champions from the different seasons and, like, shows and all that were, like, fighting each other in a big tournament. I was like, that's a pretty good conclusion if they're retiring Ash. I don't really care that much. Speaking of Gen 1 and anime, if you want a Pokemon anime, watch Pokemon Origins. That stuff is great. Watch the first episode and watch the fight between Blue and Red, and when Red sends out Charmander against Squirtle, and watch what happens. It's again going somewhere you didn't think Pokemon would go. Anyway, let me finish this up. So the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire arc is fine. It just has Ruby and Sapphire's relationship in it. And then the Sun and Moon arc, and the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon arcs. I like Moon. Moon's cool. I like Moon. Sun is fine. Sun is a fine character. I have no problems with Sun. He's just not, like, super interesting. I really like the transitions from, like, the Platinum arc to the, like, the Diamond and Pearl arc to the Platinum arc, where they change their clothes, is funny. And they do it. It's also kind of funny in the Sun and Moon to Ultra Sun and Moon arc, where they're, like, they transition. They're like, oh yeah, we need new clothes. Oh, here's some new clothes. And it's like the way they do it is kind of funny. But yeah, the Sun and Moon arc is fun, and they also reveal at the very end of the Sun and Moon arc that the female protagonist from Gen 7 is the sister of the female protagonist from Gen 4, like they're sisters. You're like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. And then the Sword and Shield arc. Again, I don't know. I haven't read it yet. I don't think it's done yet, so I wouldn't read it until it was done. So yeah, whole manga, great. Read it. It's great. It's all good. Just read the Pokemon manga. It's fantastic. Man, I've not been paying attention to the game at all. I've just been on autopilot. That is the nature of Pokemon, I suppose, when you're doing a not challenge run of any kind. Oh, good. Squirtle's poisoned. Oh, what do you do? We have no more trainers in between here and the next town. All right, wow. Squirtle caught up to Pidgey. Amazing. I'm trying to remember. Like I said, we're not getting any more team members after the gym leader. You got a good autopilot. Again, this is the game series I've been playing for the longest amount of time. The only game I can think of playing before I even played this was I was at my uncle's house when I was younger, before I got my DS, and I think he had, like, Halo 2. And I remember playing Halo 2 for like 15 minutes on my uncle's, like, Xbox. That was, like, the only video game I can remember ever playing before playing Pokemon Pearl on my DS. So yeah, I'm very... Pokemon is not something I have to pay attention to if I'm, like, especially in the early game. Like, maybe later on I'll have to pay more attention. We'll see. How much money do I have? Probably buy some more Pokeballs. Unfortunately, I don't think you get Premier Balls yet. Let's check. I think that's a Gen 4 thing. Yeah, okay. No Premier Ball. There's nothing in the town, right? There might, if I remember correctly, there might be like a hidden item here or something. Just mash A. Hidden item? I know there's a hidden item somewhere in this town. I don't remember where it is. I guess I should also quickly touch on the Pokemon side games. Like Mystery Dungeon and such. I think, is it up here? Nope. I think there's a hidden item up here. No? Come Come on. I could have sworn. Oh, well. Is it up over here, maybe? No. Okay, well, whatever. I don't think so. Side games. So, I didn't grow up with an N64, so I did not play Pokemon Snap. I do not care about Pokemon Snap. Pokemon Snap looks, to me, having, again, not playing it grown up, looks kind of dumb. If you don't like Pokemon Snap, more power to you. I'm just not super... Will I play it on this stream? Maybe. At some point, if I feel like it. One day. But... will we play, like, Coliseum and all that? Probably. Like, what? Is it Coliseum and XD Gales of Darkness actually have single-player content? So they definitely are worth a gander. Never played... Okay, that's not true. I played, like, probably 10 minutes of XD Gales of Darkness at someone else's house. I'm trying to go in order of how old the Pokemon side games are. The only other one I can think of is KU Pikachu, which is a joke. That is not a game worth playing. Oh, I should have swapped into Pidgey. I still can't. This guy doesn't have any rock type moves. I keep forgetting this guy always doesn't stand true. So with that regard, I don't think there's anything else worth talking about besides basically the big three for me is... Oh, last ones I will touch on are... there is Pokemon Troze or whatever on the DS. I have that. I might still have it somewhere, actually. It was a bad puzzle game. Well, I'll put it that way. And what's that game where you play as like little Pokemon minifigures and you go around like destroying all of them, and it has microtransactions and it looks incredibly stupid. I played like probably like 30 minutes of one of them. I think the one on the 3DS. Whatever those are called. Those also do look kind of dumb. So, the big three in the Pokemon side game for me is Ranger. Let's talk about Ranger first. Because Ranger is certainly the one with the least amount of depth, but still really fun. Ranger also only has 3 games, because they're very, very much Nintendo DS games. The first Ranger game kind of sucks, but Ranger 2 and 3 are both pretty good. So everyone talks about Shadows of Almia, the second one, but I don't think people give Guardian Signs, the third one, enough time of day. Like, Guardian Signs is also really good. It has actually, in fact, from what I remember, it's been a long time since I played Ranger. Guardian Signs has some certain aspects to it that I really like over Shadows of Almia. I just think Shadows of Almia is a bit more, like, kind of cool in a way. In certain aspects, which is why most people gravitate towards it. But Guardian Signs is, like, in my opinion, equal or in certain aspects better than Guardian Signs or Shadows of Almia is in certain ways. Ranger 1 is just meh. It's like there. Again, I'll play it, but I don't... Ranger 1 is not great. Mystery Dungeon. So... Mystery Dungeon is a series with the first 2 games having a shit ton of depth. They are very long. They are very good. Mystery Dungeon, Blue Rescue Team, and Red Rescue Team, and their remake are good games. I haven't played the remake version, but if it's just a remake of those 2 put together, yeah, sure, okay. And then obviously Explorers of Time, Darkness, and Sky. Obviously, just you played Sky. Everyone says Explorers of Sky is like the best Pokemon side game people ever made. I disagree. I think Explorers of Sky is the second best Pokemon side game that has ever been made, because I'll get to that. And then I played... right. So I played Blue Rescue Team, but I never finished it. I played Explorers of Darkness. I got past Palkia, but I didn't beat Darkrai. I don't know if there's anything after that, because I actually really haven't paid attention to, like, the ending of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. And I played some of Sky, but I didn't really have... Back when I got Sky, I didn't really have the energy to go through it again, so I haven't really played Sky all that much. So that'll be their certainly experience when we get to that. Very much a long game that I feel like is kind of a long ways off. And then I've played Super. Super Mystery Dungeon is the only Mystery Dungeon game that I've played that I've beaten because it is incredibly short. It's also not very interesting compared to the other ones, but it's there. Super, I mean, not Super. Gates of Infinity. I mean, that's what I meant. I've beaten Gates of Infinity because Gates of Infinity is really short. I've not played Super Mystery Dungeon, so I actually don't. I've heard some people say Super Mystery Dungeon is good. I don't know anything about it, to be honest. I know it has Mega Evolution in it because Mega Charizard Y is on the cover. That's all I know. So yeah. So if Explorers of Sky is what I'd probably say is the second best Pokemon side game, what would I say the best one is? Pokemon Conquest. Oh man, the Pokemon game where they combine Pokemon with Nobunaga's ambition, the tactics Pokemon game that's like probably more comparable to something like a Final Fantasy Tactics, even though I've never played Final Fantasy Tactics. Pokemon Conquest is the greatest side game of Pokemon they ever made. It is a crime that we only ever got one of it. It is amazing. Like how did you? Okay, it didn't sell well. Fair enough. And that's the problem. The best games are the ones that do a specific thing very well, but the problem is the game that does a specific thing very well, unless it's made by a company that's designed around making a specific game that does a specific thing very well, and they have a target audience. Pokemon doesn't really have a target audience. It's probably one of the most broad franchises on the planet. So the fact that they made a very specific tactics Pokemon game, which is actually really hard in certain parts of the game, makes sense why it did so well. Again, it's also a crossover with Nobunaga's Ambition, which is a series I've never played, but I know the name of it because I love Pokemon Conquest. Why Pokemon Conquest didn't get a sequel? I'm so sad. It's so fun. It's so good. Considering the fact that I played Fire Emblem 7 on this channel, I like tactics games. I like strategy games. There are certain strategy games, especially PC strategy games, like, okay, here's a little thing. I typically don't talk about games that I want to play in the future, but one I do want to bring up is the first PC strategy game I ever played was Civilization 5. And I'm kind of avoiding playing games like that. Oh, we finally get the running shoes. I forgot. Thank the Lord. Anyway, so I'm avoiding playing games like Civilization because you can play Civilization by yourself. And the very first time I play Civilization 5 on stream, I will be playing a solo campaign. I'll probably do a couple solo campaigns of Civilization 5 on stream, and any other strategy game that you can play solo. But what I really love, the thing I love the most about having a large Twitch following is be able to play games like Civilization 5 with viewers. That sounds awesome. Gen 3 is the fastest running shoes. Maybe, I don't know. I can't think of that. I don't know about that off the top of my head. I think it's a lot faster to get around Gen... I feel like the bike is better in Gen 5. The Gen 5 is probably the best bike. So you probably get around the fastest in Gen 5. Like the Gen 3 bike kind of sucks. And the Gen 4 bike is just there. But anyway, yeah. If anything can come out of me ever making a good big Twitch channel, it'd be being able to play games like Civilization 5 with a big audience, big games of like strategy games like that, other games that I want to play multiplayer. Like I have friends who could theoretically play them with me, but I would never be able to get them to do it consistently on a stream. And then viewers would do that. Like that's certainly something I've had to come to. We're gonna be running back to the Pokemon Center a lot here, because there are a million trainers. Having I've grown up with people who play, friends who play games. And as someone who likes to play older games, and mentioning Civilization, I think Civilization 6 is fine, but I prefer Civilization 6. A majority of people like to play the latest and greatest, don't like to go backwards. There's nothing down here, is there? Yeah, okay. Like to play the latest and greatest, don't like to go backwards, and then a lot of people I've grown up with have just kind of either played way less games than they used to, as someone who's collects games and also wants to stream them because I like them so much. Those people don't play even close to enough of what I play, or with the wide variety that I play. Like, they play, I don't know, Call of Duty Warzone. Like, okay, sure, that game looks terrible. There are way better shooters out there. Why would I play Warzone when I can play an older one that's better? Stuff like that. What did he say? Probably another bug type. Yeah, okay. So I do miss running has gotten slower to the point of just being like a jog in the newer Pokemon games. Well, I feel like the newer Pokemon games are also like, you don't have to cover as much ground. Also, like, again, in Gen like 7, you can just ride your Tauros everywhere. So there's that too. Again, I don't know anything post Gen 7 because I do not care. I know you can ride Pokemon in certain Pokemon in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. But, yeah, anyway, yeah, so being someone who takes gaming a lot more seriously than a bunch of people I know, most people I know, basically everyone I know, is kind of a curse in its own little regard. So I'm like, hey, you guys want to play, I'll be like, hey, you guys want to play, game that I think is better than a newer game that's come out? They're like, no, we want to play the newer game that's come out. But I'm like, the newer game that's come out is worse. And like, nah, we're going to play the newer one that came out anyway because we don't like playing old stuff. I'm like, why? This doesn't make any sense. Newer stuff is sometimes bad. Now, okay, I like old games, but old games aren't always better. Indicator, again, the two indicators we've played on stream so far, Half-Life 1, Halo 1. They both kind of suck. They had good moments, but they both kind of suck. The newer ones are better. He tail whipped me, right? All right, well, yeah, whatever. So I forget. I think he intimidates me. Okay, so I think in Gen 3 and maybe Gen 4, Quick Attack is stronger than Tackle, but I think Tackle gets buffed to 50 base power later on, to the point where if you want power, Tackle is better, but of course Quick Attack is the one you get priority. So yeah. You know, Poison Sting, it's stab, it's a physical attack. My defense was lowered one stage. It still does no damage because it's the weakest move that's ever existed. Are great, if they have great replay value? Well, not necessarily. There are, okay, again, I've mentioned that there are going to be certain games that I have planned coming up on the list that have terrible replay value, but I need to play them for two reasons. One, they're kind of iconic, and one or two of them I played before, and I can definitely say they're good, but they're not also games that I would be really interested in playing again, at least not for a long time. A game that I would say has good replay value is a game that I think about playing again quick after its completion. Like Doom Eternal. I brought Doom Eternal up a couple times, and I've mentioned it multiple times that I think it's one of the greatest games I've ever played. Another indication of good new games also being good. I probably played Doom Eternal when it came out like 3 times before I stopped playing it, and I played it like 2 more times since. That is the game that I say has great replay value. Certain Pokemon games have okay replay value. The problem is a lot of RPGs, and Pokemon does fall into this category, have a kind of harder replay value because RPGs are a lot more long form. So I would try not to play Pokemon games too often. Again, if I was someone who played one type of game, if I was a Pokemon streamer, if I was a Halo streamer, if I was a whatever hell other game franchise you want to talk about, I would go mad. I would lose my mind. I could not play the same franchise over and over and over again. There are too many good games out there to just lock yourself down to one thing. One or two things. Like, I suppose you could be like a Nintendo streamer, but that's still way too small. There's all of whatever the hell was on the old PlayStation, Sega, we have to mention, but who cares? Xbox, all that old stuff. All the PC nonsense. There's so many games exclusive to the PC that you have to consider that. Like, why would you lock yourself down like that? Sure, you find a specific audience, but my goal in streaming is to be, I want to be a person who's, the purpose of being here is for the person, not for the content, but the content's a bonus. That's why I try to, like, I've been trying to play as broad of game categories as possible. We've been playing a lot of games I've played before, because there are games later in series that I want to play, but I don't want to play them until I've played earlier games in the series. And then there's games like DMC1 that I played. Was that game, did it have its frustrating moments? Yeah. But did I have fun with it most of the time? Yeah, it was a fun experience. So I would never get those opportunities if I just locked myself down to games. So, because what, DMC5 looks like one of the coolest games that's come out in like the last 6 or so years. I totally want to get around to playing DMC5, but I know there's 4 other DMC games before that. I know one of them is supposed to be terrible, but I still want to experience the series. Which is definitely one of the things, is there, again, with remakes, it's kind of hard to parse. Like I said before, I don't think original Gen 1 and 2 have much value anymore. The remakes of Gen 1 and 2 definitely make the original Gen 1 and 2 for the most part obsolete. But even so, you still at the very least get to experience the series. And experiencing a series all the way through is something that I definitely think a lot of people don't do, and it's very much worth the effort. Because let's say, for instance, I think I've talked about this before, but for instance, Fire Emblem. I started with Fire Emblem 7 because Fire Emblem is one of the few series where I definitely say you can play whatever the hell Fire Emblem games you want in whatever the hell order. It does not matter. The first Fire Emblem game I played was Fire Emblem Birthright on the 3DS. In retrospect, the first time I played it, I was like, man, this is a cool game. I kind of like it. In retrospect, Birthright's kind of boring and slow, which I understand is the opinion of most people who play Birthright and who like other Fire Emblem games. But it still was good enough of a system and mechanics to get me into the series. And I preferred the older Fire Emblem games. But like, if you only played, like I'll see the new Fire Emblem came out, Fire Emblem Engage. I haven't played it yet. It looks kind of rough. It kind of looks not great to me. I'm not super interested in it, but I'll play it eventually. And I didn't have a lot of fun with Three Houses as compared to some other Fire Emblem games. I think Fire Emblem Three Houses is a lot worse than a lot of other people say. But if you just limit yourself to Fire Emblem Engage, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Fire Emblem Echoes before that, you're missing out on the GameCube Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. You're missing out on Genealogy of the Holy War and Thracia 7076, which are, I haven't played those two yet, but I've heard so many people say that Genealogy and Thracia are like some of the best tactics games they've ever played, and I'm like, yeah, I'm excited to play them. I will be saying that they both look daunting, but like I'm excited to get into them and try them out and learn them, because they look like good games, and enough people say that they're good games. Now, again, you have to be careful with that, because like I said, a lot of people say that Three Houses is really good, and I don't quite agree there. But that's kind of the whole point of playing a game that you really don't know anything about and finding your own opinion, or in the case of, like I've said, I'm not really interested in anything post-Gen 7 Pokemon, just being so aware and paying attention to everything that happens to Pokemon that I know basically everything about the game already, that I can... For the most part, I say you should form an opinion on a game not until after you've played it. But there are the instances where if you do enough research beforehand, I'd say you can make a fairly accurate assessment of a game before you even played it. So, of course, there's always nuance to this kind of thing. Yeah. Anyway, I keep forgetting. Like, the topics today have been going really weird. Is there anything to say about the Pokemon, the game that's going on? I don't know. It's just kind of sitting around in the background while I talk about stuff. Yeah, like, oh man, guys, ooh, it's interesting. Squirtle, he sure one-shot that Caterpie. Yeah, that's something, all right. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. There's a lot of games we gotta play. A lot of games. Which, again, even if I never... Man, the main reason I'd want to try to be a successful streamer is so I could do it more. I could justify doing it more. Because I can't justify doing it a lot, because I have to, like, have a job. I have to go to school. If I was successful, and this was a way to make money, then I'd be like, yeah, of course. The best aspect would be the fact that now I have this opportunity to myself experience, but then also bring across the experience of all these games that I want to, like, I don't know, show to the world. That deserve to be shown. Like, on YouTube, what I like to find on YouTube are reviewers for games that no one talks about, so that I can be made aware of games that no one talks about, so that someday on stream I can play those games on stream, so hopefully maybe more people know about these games that are really good. It's just people don't give them their time of day. Oh hey, Squirtle's evolving. So well, that's what happens when you only have 2 Pokemon. All right, well, yeah, I feel like as soon as you get to stage 2 Pokemon, or I guess it's technically considered, okay, so real quick talk of the Pokemon TCG. Oh yeah, also I should, well, again, so 35, yeah, there's no reason to use Tackle or Quick Attack. Get that out of here. Real quick talk of the TCG. Pokemon TCG sucks. It's bad. I don't know why you play it. I mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh before. The reason I don't play, or the reason I don't know if I brought this up. The reason I play Yu-Gi-Oh is because it doesn't have set rotation. I hate set rotation. I love the fact that in Yu-Gi-Oh, weird old cards can be meta relevant. In Pokemon, that's not the case, and it sucks. I hate it. Like, all those Pokemon cards are just completely useless. It's the same thing with Magic the Gathering. I know Magic the Gathering, there's theoretically a way to play, like, it's called Legacy or something. But that's not the way the game is designed to be played. Or with Yu-Gi-Oh! Yes, the game has a very good, has a good system called the ban list. If an old card has some weird interaction with a new card, you can just ban it. It's not that hard. I like the lack of set rotation. So Pokemon TCG, all the Pokemon TCG and like its resource system just doesn't really interest me. It's like the same thing with Magic. The Magic has mana, Pokemon has energy. Unfulfilling. By the way, what do I have? I put Pidgey in the front, right? I did not. Granted, it's not so great going into a cave, but I like to try to level my guys equally. Wait. I think there's a hidden item out here. Yeah! So these little M spots are hidden item areas. Always look out for little M's with a dash through them. Yeah. Mount Moon. Oh, good. Our first Zubat cave. Again, my Pokemon are very high level in comparison. Just the nature of having very few Pokemon. Yeah, okay. Hello, Zubat. Oh, another thing. I don't plan on using Pokemon if their max evolution form isn't available yet. So theoretically, Crobat would be a Pokemon I'd eventually want to use. But Crobat's not in this game. So we wouldn't be using Crobat until we get to a Gen 4 or higher game, which is going to be everything except for this one. We also wouldn't use in this game something like an Electabuzz. So, yeah. You know, it's nice that this Pidgey seems to be a physical attacker because isn't Pidgeot supposed to be a special attacker, but all flying type moves are physical in Gen 3, so you know, Gust doesn't make any sense that it's physical, but it's Gen 3, no physical special split. Oh wow, exciting. I got Bugcatcher Ken, or whatever his name was. I'm not gonna be able to find any hidden items in here, I don't think. I don't think they have M's on the ground. Are you a trainer? Yes, okay. I know there's a couple non-trainers in here, but I don't remember. Man, I'm already, like, because I don't want to talk about, like, too in-depth stuff for Pokemon post, come on. Post, whatchamacalled? The generations I'm playing, like, I've already exhausted the interesting topics to deal with, Pokemon. So it's hard to, like, double slap, my favorite. That's kind of the thing with Pokemon. Until later, there's not gonna be much interesting going on screen. If we again, when we get to like randomized Nuzlockes, because I would plan to do a randomized Nuzlocke for every Pokemon game I play. Because those are fun. Then there's actually interesting stuff going on, but again, like I said, I want to do a construct my own team. Oh good, he's level 16 now. Construct my own team first playthrough for all the Pokemon games, just to show, like, I don't know, how you'd actually typically go through a Pokemon game. Okay. Say hello to our third team member, by the way. A Geodude. Exciting. Okay, this might take a second. This might take a second. This might take a second. Don't get a crit, please, Pidgey. Don't get a crit. Don't get a crit. Don't get a crit. Don't get a crit. God damn it. Okay, this might take a second. 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 No, nope, I don't want Zubat. Right. Don't get a crit. 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 Oh my god, stop. Alright, give me a Pokeball. Alright, Geodude, our third team member. That's cool. Pokemon. I don't know. He's a Geodude. Why not use him? He only has Tackle. Ugh. Okay, we need to get Geodude up to the level of our other guys, so we'll, again, speed up time. I don't think he evolves into, like, level 25, though. What's the... Okay, we can attack here. Oh my god. Okay, that went mostly fine. Fortunately, Geodude also resists everything in this area, so well, he might be having the annoyances of not being able to hit anything for 10,000 years because of Sand Attack and getting cute charmed or whatever. At least he's not going to get himself killed. Yep, I can just spam A all day. All right, cool, amazing. When do we get a rock type move on this guy, or a ground type move? Granted, that would be helpful against Pidgey. Please. Okay, good. This is a male. I know Nidoran gets double kick, but I don't think it's until a bit after you're able to catch it. Can we stop with the sand attacks? Thanks. Do you have Karate Chop? Or he does have low kick. All right, never mind. I forgot Mankey was here. So we will leave Mankey alone. All right, yeah, Spearow, who cares? I don't think you have sand attack, so the worst you can do is keep growling me. I'd like an 100% accuracy move, please. Tackle has 95% accuracy, which is so good. It's so helpful. Okay, Rock Throw. Thank you. That is better. We still want to hold on to Tackle just for... God damn it. Rock Throw only has 15 PP. Why? You know, actually, we could probably go in the... I think the Pokemon are a little higher in the cave. We can go in the cave now, kill Zubats, and just run away from Geodudes. Of course, the first thing we run into is the Geodude. I don't know if this is going to give us more experience. Considering that Zubats can be level 10, probably. I think Geodude, like... Okay, we're going to get Geodude up, like, to 14, and then we'll just forget about it. 14 will be good enough. We can have him fight trainers. Yeah. I was like, you don't have grass type moves yet. I don't think so. He might have Absorb, but I think we were faster. Also, grass doesn't resist rock for some reason. Just like ground doesn't resist fire for some reason. Man, one of the hardest... So, memorizing what Pokemon is weak to what is fairly easy in Pokemon. You'll get that down pretty quick. But memorizing resistances, especially because they change a lot, is kind of a pain. Like, and there's... Okay, even weaknesses changes, because Steel-type was resisting Ghost and Dark until Gen 5, and then in Gen 6 they changed it. For, I guess to balance Steel-type. Steel-type's still really good. But they're just like, it's too good with the ability to also resist Dark and Ghost. Made Metagross not quite as good anymore, I suppose. This is going to take a while. You know what? In fact, with that in mind, leave me alone. Let's go get... So, there's either two things we could do here. We could either, A, buy some repels, a bit too expensive for this current state of the game, or... No, not Pokeballs. Potions. We can buy some potions, a couple antidotes, and a couple paralyze heals, so that we can get through the whole cave in one try, even if we take damage and get status ailed. Now, piss off. See, I don't like using the speed up, but just to get back to where we're actually supposed to go. Actually, yeah. And grinding again, obviously. Grinding is too slow otherwise. The problem that Zubat is in here, and he's a... God damn it. Is a kind of a slower Pokemon. Oh wait, I forgot to heal, didn't I? Doesn't really matter. Especially since Leech Life is a terrible, terrible, terrible move. And it should never be... this is a dead end. Right? Yes. Hey, look, it's Team Rocket. It's always so weird that they're here. Oh, they're trying to get the fossils or the stones or whatever. Who cares? Go away. You don't have ground type moves yet. Oh, he's got Squirtle. Okay, fine. Squirtle can come out. No. 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 No! God damn it, why did OBS have to kill itself? The recording's still going, obviously, so on YouTube this is still seeable. But I smell something. Alright, fine. What we're going to do is we're going to stop the recording, we're going to stop streaming, and we'll see if that helps. If not, this is the damn end of the stream. Great! I love it when my internet just decides to die. It's happening again. You know, it hadn't happened for like 2 weeks now, and now it's dying. The internet's randomly dying. All right. Well, so this may be... Oh. Wait. What was that? No, turn that off. This may be the... Oh, and there goes the internet. So, okay. Let me check something real quick by standing up and see if something is plugged in properly. It is plugged in properly. I only had to go like 2 seconds. All right. Okay, so the internet is dead. All right, well, I guess that's the end of this stream. I will now be, oh, good, an hour and a half. Well, you know, we got to half a stream. I hate, why did my internet just decide to die? It is the most infuriating thing. Well, I guess that's the stream. Oh, I love it how it says disconnected, 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 disconnected up here. It's great. I love it. Can't connect to this network. Why? Why can't you connect to this network? You know what? Let's plug it in. Unplug it and plug it back. There's something wrong with my computer. I don't know what it is. Please work. Please work. Just okay. We're reconnected to the internet. Recording is still going. Let's see if OBS connects. I can stop streaming without starting recording, so that's good. Let's stop streaming. Oh wait. Let's see if so. It always says disconnected, reconnected in. Ooh. Reconnecting? It says, okay. So it says reconnected successful. Oh. Oh. Okay, but I only have not enough bits. The bit rate's really small. All right, so we're going to stop the stream. Why? Okay. This is going to be possibly, again, the stream, oh my god, my computer is so stupid. It's not my internet. 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 The internet's fine. The internet works great. The problem is there's something with my computer that decides to stop. All right, start streaming. Please. Please. Bitrate. Ooh, and the bitrate is even worse. Okay, so that's going to be the end of the stream then. I'm going to kill a trainer. Actually, let's kill the trainer on recording real quick. Just so it's there. I will then proceed to save my game. How's that sound? All right, so let's just speed through this. This is so fucking frustrating. Rattata, go back to Geodude. What's a Rattata gonna do against the Geodude? Zubat? What's a Zubat gonna do against the Geodude, huh? Alright. Well, that's that. 2 hours and 3 minutes. Oh, right. Speed up. I was about to say, huh? Well, alright. So that's that. Pokemon has decided it wants to shit the bed. Please exchange the backup memory. Okay. We have something called, I'm not going to say what it is, but we got something that bypasses that little issue. Where is it? Yeah, you don't see anything down there in the bottom left. You definitely did not see anything just now. So yeah, that's gonna be the end of this stream. Oh good, the internet died again. Just because this is the fifth, third, fourth time this has happened to me. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. So thanks for Blaze coming around again. Oh good, I love it when this. God, this is. It only happens very rarely, but when it happens, it's so demoralizing. And I don't know what causes it. All right, well, thanks for the stream. I guess it was cool. We'll be back for Salt and Sanctuary tomorrow. Oh, goody. Hopefully the internet doesn't die again. Kill me.